So, good evening everyone. बस यार stop enough. कब आया था? 6:10. Writing for 1 hour and you need more time. What about you? 6:30. Everyone written? How was it? 2 questions. 3. Which one you left? What about you? How much you written? 3 questions you written. Which one? First, second and third. Satyam, you written all. Why fourth one? Why you are not writing? So how was it? How was experience? बोलो कैसे था? कितने लिखा आपने? इसमें एनालिसिस भी था ना, वो किया? सेक्शन एग्जैक्ट सेक्शन नहीं पता, ठीक है, बट द क्वेश्चन वाज आस्किंग समथिंग एनालिसिस हो, और लिखा? कंटेंट नहीं है इसलिए छोड़ा, बाकी 3 लिखा. So most of you have written first 3 questions. ठीक है. Workbook you have seen, gone through. कुछ कर रहा है? It's in Telegram group. और प्रिंट आउट मिला इधर से? आज नहीं मिला. क्या बोला? Just bring it for everyone if anyone is going. It's coming too dark, right? Give me this watermark. Actually in PDF it is very light. I kept it like it shouldn't be a disturbance. In print it is yes. Give me. So wherever the columns are left, you have to do your work on it. I'm not getting too much into it. Rest all you know, right? So we'll straight away start the discussion. What we are going to do is first two question we will discuss it together. It was very much similar questions. What was difference in this? First question is determinants of left-wing extremism and what should be the way forward. That is what is asked. In the second question, what is government approach that is being asked. So tell me different parts of this answer. First answer. You have gone through the question, right? Everyone have written. What are determinants of left-wing extremism in eastern part of India? So what will be your first heading or first part of the answer? Very direct. Determinants of left-wing extremism in eastern part of India. Okay. What is next? What strategy should government of India, civil administration and security forces adopt to counter the threat in the affected areas? Very easy. What we are approach is, strategy we are going to write. This may you will write 3 sections. Government of India, what should government of India do? Civil administration, what they should do, and security forces. So how many parts overall we get? Nearly 4 parts. So at least 4 points in each, 20. Some point may 3 and 15 plus point you can easily generate. I don't think it's very straightforward question. What about this one? What is the question? Left-wing extremism is showing a downward trend but still affects many parts of the country. Briefly explain government of India's approach to counter the challenges posed by left-wing extremism. How much marks? It's a 10 marker. Okay, here it is 15, right? Yeah, so we have 4 parts, 15, very easy. What will you do for this? Tell me. See, in this question, this is very similar to what we discussed yesterday. There is a statement, there is a question. So you have 2 pages. I'm drawing too much. You have a statement and you have different question, not totally different, but still a question. So will you approach it? Like here, there will be question written. 2-line, 3-line introduction you are given. What else you will do? There is a statement, support the statement. But whatever space is left, don't take 50% of the space for this. Take in a very small space. Here you will substantiate the statement, whatever it is given. And major part of your answer should be answering the question, exactly what is asked. Okay. In some question, after the statement, there will be a word like comment, explain, elaborate, something like that. In that kind of question, you can take 50% of the space for the statement, whatever it is, then you can come into the question, whatever. Okay. So what will be different parts of this? Downward trend, you told somebody. Downward trend you will show. After that, still affected, how it is. This you can show together or as a separate also if you have enough content for that. What else you will do? Next part, Government of India strategy. What more you can do in this? Way forward, if you have, you can write something. Make it very small. Okay, move ahead. All clear? So this is kind of introduction for both the question. What we are doing is we are simply defining what is left-wing terrorism or left-wing extremism. Whatever term is given in the question, just explain what it is. Okay. Now there is a scope for drawing a map in this question. Which question you will draw the map and all this? In the first question, you will complete your introduction here and finish it off. In the second question, you can show the trend is coming down. Which data you remember? Yeah. Left-wing extremism affected districts. In 2010, it was 96 districts. It became 41. So what happened in exam? It's very high chance that 96 and 41 you will forget. What you will do? Something like this. From in last decade, it reduced by 50%. Somewhere I have used it. Reduced by more than 50%. At least have something numbers too, so that you can remember it. Here also, otherwise you are good at it, you can learn all these numbers. Affected districts, incidents of attacks, civilian deaths, 1 or 2 will suffice your argument. Then it's still not complete, even 41 districts are still affected. You can use a map to show that. Very rough map, no need to show exact state, exact location only. At least the area where red corridor or affected area is there, show that. Which states are affected, mostly affected? Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Bihar, Odisha. Andhra Pradesh and Telangana was highest affected when earlier times. In peak of this left-wing extremism, Telangana was the major factor, but nowadays it's getting all washed out. So only Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh is one of the major area. Bihar also have some issues. Yes. Go ahead. Saying something? So how will you approach the determinants of left-wing extremism? What does exactly determinants means?
What are the factors?
factors which led to the rise of left-wing extremism, factors which are affecting it, if any changes recently is happening, we have shown it is decreasing. So what are the factors that are promoting this trend? All these factors you can show in your answer. So yeah, think from all these perspectives. What is ideological influence? Tell me, what is ideology of left-wing extremism? Maoism. Tell me, what is it? Anyone online? Against capitalist. Any other? What is ideology of left-wing extremism? What is communism? Tell me, classless society. Say, collective ownership of means of production. Anything else? What does communism envisages? Communism envisages a society where there is no state, no ownership of money or property, and what else? No classes. Classless, stateless, moneyless society. Thus, such an idealistic society is envisaged by communism. Is it practical? So what they have tried? Modified it, give some political aspect to it. Then came socialism. What socialism does? We have a capitalistic order or an exploitative order. Where this communism came from? Karl Marx. Where was he? Europe, UK mostly. So what was UK or Europe going through that time? Industrial revolution. And due to industrial revolution, what happened? There were factories where workers are working, and they were working like 12 hours, and all the miseries of life they are facing. And there is a separate section of city or town where the owners are sitting. Whatever benefits the factory is generating is taken up by the owners. So this is context where the communism came from. Now when it go to socialism, where does it came from? Even though so many places we find the reference, mainly it is by USSR, policies of USSR. So socialism, what does it do? Communism, we are a capitalist or exploitative society. A direct transition to communist society is practically not feasible. So socialism, come up with an intermediate level. And what is that? Means of production. Instead of abolishing everything, let a state come up, and that state let own all this. Then when situations are okay, we will go to communism. So who was propounder of this? Lenin. Now what is Maoism? Russia was also a kind of industrialized society. There were also these factories, this ownership, very similar issues was going on there itself. There also. What was Maoism? It came from China. So what is difference between China and what other countries we have discussed? You say? Agricultural society. It has cultural elements also. Very good. Predominantly, China was not industrialized as Europe. So who are the stakeholders here? If a society is not industrialized, it will be peasants. Agriculture is very poor, downtrodden people. So Maoism propounds something, the same ideology for not the industrial workers, but the revolution should come from peasants, agriculturists, all these people. And they, what is their strategy? People's war. What is people's war? Power come from only barrel of the gun. Use violence, use force to acquire whatever power if you want. And they all system, all this socialism, Maoism, Leninism, everything is against the liberal democracy. What is liberal democracy? That is something associated with capitalism. Capitalist society, US democracy, Indian democracy will say we are liberal democracy. Any of these country is not going to support liberal democracy. They are all some kind of one party rule like in China. So Maoism, people's war, all these ideologies when come to India, who became the stakeholders? All these development affected peoples, tribals, tribal belt in India, peasants also to some extent. So these ideologies came to India and we see what? Left-wing extremism developments. What exactly is left-wing extremism problem? How would you define the problem? Is it a social problem, economic problem, law and order problem, political problem? What is it? All. It's a law and order problem? One of the factor only. The most important thing is this is a political problem. The ideology, whatever left-wing extremism, their overall aim is overthrow of the state, democratic state, and bring in a socialist state or whatever state they are propounding. Whatever agenda they have a high-level political motive to it. That's why it's become one of the greatest internal security problem to India. If it is a limited developmental issue, we can solve it by just one or two strategies. And don't forget this political aspect to it. After all, it is a political problem, and whatever the proponents are, they have a ideology that state should be overthrown and they should acquire the power. Okay, move ahead. What else you will write? Think you get enough to substantiate ideological influences. What else? Political gap, what it is? Non-inclusion of? Anything else? There is something like Jan Adalat or Jungle Adalat. What is it? Heard of it? Not Jan Adalat, Jungle Adalat. Heard of it somewhere? What is it? What it can be? Grievances. Similar to parallel judiciary run by left-wing extremist groups. Why they are happening? Not just dissatisfaction, there is no system of policing. If something criminal thing happened into our society, people will go to police, court, all the system. Suppose police is not there, court is not there, where will people go? There is significant gap in all these. Governance gap. There is significant governance gaps in every aspect of it. That's why the Jungle Adalat, they are doing something, not just sitting, not just doing injustice thing. If a thing has to be resolved, some level they are doing something. That's why they are still able to run the parallel government or parallel system. No, this is We are talking about extremist groups. We cannot club it with something good or something like that. Don't give a positive color to it, even though I speak in that tone. Thing is, the idea is there is significant governance gap or significant issues with whatever government is delivering. Political और क्या लिख सकता है? What is this? What is it? Local self-governments to tribal areas. Problem is it is not implemented in many tribal states. Wherever it is implemented, regular elections are not happening. What else? Give me some examples of social gap. These are all tribal issues. All tribal issues you are thinking, you can connect with it. Human right violation. It's connected with tribal belt, tribal zone issues. External influences, what you will write? Arms and funding. Funding come from external. Arms. Technology influences. Weapons, drones. Most important is you will connect it with. What is urban nexus? It's a very controversial term. Tell me what is it? Thing is, when the naxalism or left-wing extremism, when it started or when it is highest peak phase, it was all related to areas where there is no government, like inner areas of forest, inner villages, all these areas. Now government is very effective. They are losing their base in those areas. Now they are coming into urban areas. What they will do? They raise funding. They spread their ideologies among youth, among college students, college organizations, all these. What else? Front organization, pressure group. They act as a pressure group. ठीक है. Urban infiltration, same thing. Okay. So at least 4-5 points will suffice. Thinking line is, think of the factors that influence this left-wing extremism. Geographical features. You can write, it can be. It's mainly affecting inner districts where there is no connectivity. There is no road, correct. Anything else you can think of? Determinants affecting left-wing extremism. You have written something new which I haven't written here, tell me. Yeah, speak about it. What is Britishers did? Historical factors, policy of isolation. You see this in Insurgency also. Tribal punch, you connect with this. Correct. Jal Jungle Jameen issues continuing, it's still not resolved. What is that? Displacement issue. Dam policy, dam as temples, all these you can connect with. Substantiate. Very difficult point. Which state? Okay. You have to give very solid substantiation for this. You are giving a point that is, I can be counter it. If you are writing a point like that, you should give an example. You should give a very solid thing. If you are writing a point which everyone knows, then no need to worry about it. What is this diagram? Okay, your next part of the answer. Okay. Land reforms. can connect with that. Legal issues. What is other legal issue you will connect with? Forest Act. What is the issue with Forest Act? One issue bolo. Ownership, giving of ownership as criteria. What is the criteria? 3 generation or 75 years data you should give to the government. Where you will get 3 generation data for tribal people. And there is many cases like it is being rejected. The claims are being rejected and no reason is given, no reappeal is given. So implementation is very much lacking. Forest Rights Act. What else was it? Land reforms, failure of land reforms. All these you can connect with. Go ahead. So how will you explain the Government of India approach to left-wing extremism? What is this? From tribal Panchil we have advanced to Samadhan strategy. Just remember the word. This is not that much required. It's very difficult to remember exactly. At least Samadhan strategy should come into your answer. Okay. Now, what does it include? All these are part of Samadhan itself. It's like a doctrine. We say about Gujarat doctrine, that is just an idea. After that, handling will be different with each country. Similarly, these are all mostly part of Samadhan doctrine itself. So, what is multi-pronged approach? Basically, it contains, tell me, different fronts. We told left-wing extremism cannot be categorized as a political problem only or law and order problem only. So, what we need is a holistic approach to it. And what is the holistic approach? These 5 dimensions you should by heart or think of. Security aspects, development aspects, these 2 mostly will write, it will come into mind. Second, administrative you can add on, political penetration, community engagement. Okay, these 5 aspects of government's multi-pronged approach to left-wing extremism. What is security aspects? More than that, what is this? Zero tolerance to violence. Best example is greyhounds. What greyhounds did? Infrastructure rehabilitation is one part of it. The other part is modernization of police forces. They use very advanced weapons, night vision cameras, thermal imaging, everything possible. Very advanced training is given to the battalion. So, very iron fist approach. What is Cobra battalion? Very same. They are getting special training to jungle fighting. CRPF is fighting for this. CRPF is the major organization. Cobra battalion. What is this? What does it does? It contains tribals which is working against these left-wing extremism areas. At least 2 examples will suffice. Development approach, what does it does? Training, yes. You can add training given to police officers. Police officers are also part of security program. This one, only tribals, tribal battalion it is. It's a part of CRPF itself. They will fight left-wing extremism. The battalion will be only of tribal people. What is developmental approach to left-wing extremism? Infrastructure development. Main issue is there is no connectivity. And connectivity, what all connectivity? Road is just one part of it. Road is communication is not there. Even healthcare is not there. Education is not there. Connect with everything. What is how much road? Any data you remember? Something like 3,000 plus kilometer road was built in since 2014 or something. The problem, what is the challenge in building roads here? Roads are being destroyed also. If a road is built, it has to be given protection also for X number of time. Yes, yes. Thing is, we are not giving road only for left-wing extremists. Road is for public to use now. Developmental issue is there, you cannot solve this issue. If developmental gap is persisting and that is not bridged, this issue will not resolve. One form it will change to another and it will continue to haunt you. Core issue is there is a huge developmental gap and road connectivity is just part of the approach. Of course, this is also being like when road construction is going on, they exactly know where who is. CRPF, security or construction work, they are also being attacked. And a lot of CRPF also, people are also died on this construction of road project itself. So even though this is happening, we cannot say we should not construct road. What about mobile connectivity? How much? Any data? Something like that, more than 80% or 90% of left-wing extremism districts are mobile connectivity is provided. Okay, what is aspirational district program? What is the idea of it? Convergence. It is not bringing out anything new. Whatever is happening, they are converging it. Low hanging fruits, you get it. There has been, this is mostly implemented in these districts. 41 districts we show. Roshni scheme, what is it? Skill development, related to skill development. All these development aspects you connect with this. Administrative, Adalat system. Jungle Adalat has to be stopped, should give something alternative to it. Unless alternative is not provided, parallel government, all these will continue. Providing government officers. There is BharatNet. What is it? How much panchayats are being connected? Yeah. 2.5 lakh villages. So giving mobile was one step of it. Things should start moving more forward. In way forward, you should providing internet connectivity, smartphones, e-governance, political penetration. What is it? Basically, these two we discussed: Forest Right Act and PESA. Community engagement. What is media plan? Counter propaganda. Influence the positive image, create positive image about state, role of state, everything like that. Then you can always connect with SHGs, NGOs, connect with some examples regarding this. Now, how you can give more depth to this answer? These 5 dimensions you have to think, and these points also will come. How you can give more depth to this? Very good. Give me some examples. Andhra Pradesh model we discussed. Bihar, so many models are there. So at least give 2-3 case studies here and there. That will give you so much more clarity to whatever we are discussing. So this is a small list. What is this? Saranda model. What does it does? This is the beginning of developmental approach. Development as a antidote to left-wing extremism. Okay. What is? Yeah. State ने लिखा है. Take. Okay. So this strategy was development as an antidote to left-wing extremism. Not give it as a separate list. Whenever you are substantiating the other part, give this example. What is this? Sandesh Bihar. What does it does? You write about PESA. Yeah, a very good example when substantiating PESA. You are writing political aspects. Give an example of story of Sandesh. Regular elections were conducted. Alternative was somehow developed in the region. What is this? Asdwar project. What is the idea? Idea is provide all kinds of connectivity, road, infrastructure, everything. Andhra model greyhounds we already told. At least 2-3 examples and case study came into your answer. That will give so much depth to it. Now how you will think way forward? This question becomes a little bit easy. Next part of the question. Government of India, civil administration. What is third one? Security forces. 3 very conveniently given. So you can think on those lines. Otherwise what you will do? Simply way forward you have to write strategies to adopt against left-wing extremism. What will you do? Think these 5 dimensions. Security, development, administration, political penetration and community engagement. Now give a little bit extra to this. What more you can do? Think on these lines. What more security forces should do? What more they should do? Intelligence gathering should be improved. Interconnectivity, you are saying. Human rights violation by security forces you are speaking about. That should also be addressed. So a very controversial topic again. AFSPA will discuss. Development, give the next step. What should next come into the next phase of development? Industrialization you can connect with. Administration, e-governance. 2.5 lakh panchayats we are connecting with fiber network. And most of, what is it? Black fiber, dark fiber, optic fiber it is. What is dark fiber or something like that? Not dark net. No, not dark net. We are not talking about dark net. It's completely different. Unused, like we are laying the optical fiber cables, only very small fraction of it we are using currently. But we are laying very big potential cables. Why? Every time we cannot go and dig throughout the country. So in future we will need more data to pass. So we are laying like for foreseeable future. So that all should be exploited to give e-governance in these areas, improve connectivity aspirations. Yeah, this question we will connect it with 3 aspects. First part, Government of India. What Government of India should do? What should be long-term vision for each district? What we will write in it? Idea is that only, but thing is, if top-down approach should go, somewhere each district should come out with its own plan. Why this is more relevant in now times? Because earlier when we draw the map of India, we will show the red corridor. It was very huge number of areas. Now it has been very less. These areas lost their continuity. Now it is become much more convenient to tackle this. At least in Bihar, many areas we case study we see. Many part of the Bihar is left-wing extremism is out. Only in few zones it is still happening. In Telangana we have discussed. Telangana was peak of this left-wing extremism. Now it is almost getting cleared out. So whichever state is having, Jharkhand is one of state where things can be improved with small investment. And this plan will come out from state, from each districts. Challenges are different. Chhattisgarh is one area where still there is considerable left-wing extremism going on. There we may need better plans, bigger plans. But at least in those states where the challenge is very limited, there we need districts to have more autonomy or everything. Okay. Tribal Panchil, you can always connect with this. What is tribal Panchil? Whose policy? Basic idea, what was it? Yeah, they have to develop on their own. Government will not. Government will support the development, but don't enforce policies on them. They have to develop with their own. Exactly remembering this is not required. You are not to replicate this, but this you can use as a keyword or government policy and gives a basic idea of it in one line. Move ahead. Security forces, what they do? Intelligence, we already talked. Take. Modernization of forces. Every time we discuss this topic. When tomorrow's topics, which are they? Border security. So when border security, every time, every standard way forward is modernization of forces. It's applicable everywhere the armed forces are involved. Close cooperation with police forces. Why? At the end of the day, law and order is whose matter? It's a state subject. Ultimately, police is what groundwork, everything is done by police. Part of developmental activities. What example you will write? In Jammu and Kashmir, we discussed some educational programs run by army. CRPF is also running similar programs. One example like tribal products, forest products. CRPF, whatever they have requirement, they are acquiring from tribals. So what will happen? They are pushing the developmental aspect. And CRPF has capacity, long demand, like demand is very flexible. They can acquire even if the product is much more also. What about civil administration? It's very similar to whatever we have discussed. E-governance, social integration, community engagement. Okay. Yes. Ethics is very much applicable throughout. What you will write? Tell me. Ethical governance. Governance gap. Yes, you can connect it. Anything else? Anyone written something new, something innovative? What do you have written? Nothing. You have drawn a diagram. Show me. Strategy should have core psychological. How this is related? Core is security issue. After that, psychological issue. ठीक है, good innovation. Something like this he has drawn. Core issue, how should we resolve? Then this is developmental. This is something in between you can connect with. Psychologically you are written, right? Anything else? Anything innovative somebody has done? You should have written so much. Satyam. What you have written? Seen your notes yesterday. Okay. But it can be. You have written that also. Somewhere you have read it. Counter. It's connected to insurgency. I have to see here. This is something. We cannot speak something very, can be wrong things. Move ahead. So conclusion, what you will do? You can cite some data. One question we are already giving data, in that don't cite the same data. In the other question you can cite some data, it's already reducing. What we need is continue the whatever efforts government is doing. Whatever multi-pronged approach is being adopted is working very well. Significant reduction we have seen. Saranda model, yes. Yogesh Kumar. Move ahead. Next question, third question. Yes. Approach? Similar. Don't too much differentiation can nahi bol sakta. So what you have done for this? The northeastern region of India has been infested with insurgency for a very long time. Analyze the major reasons for the survival of armed insurgency in this region. 10 marks. One thing is, all questions are very direct. Where is a twist question? At least in security, there are no questions that will really trouble you. Previous years, you look whatever, 2013 to 21. There is not even one question that you can say, one question is there. Cyberdome. Exactly. Yeah, that was a bouncer question. Cyberdome. If you don't know, you don't know. Security. Cybersecurity more related to cybersecurity. That was one question you really miss out. Rest all questions are very, very straightforward. What this is saying? Insurgency. So, tell me something about insurgency. Pakistan policy of? We are speaking about insurgency. This argument is correct. There has been some influences by Pakistan. Like before 1970s, East Bengal, Bangladesh was Pakistan. So they have really contributed to insurgency in Mizoram, all these northeastern states. But insurgency problem root cause is not Pakistan. Can you say Pakistan is not the root cause? They have influenced, they have played the catalytic role, but you cannot say Pakistan or is the root cause of insurgency operation going on. Tell me one major insurgency group or some.
Inter-tribal conflicts also, because there are more than 300 number of tribes. If you can see whole northeast region.
Yes.
So
what you are trying to say?
Two things. First, the reorganization of the states.
Reorganization of state. Okay.
That there are different states have different culture and tribal ethnicity. So it all conflicted in that way also, and it leads to insurgency, and also difficult
What is root cause of the problem? Lack of development, everything is there. Key problem is they are not integrated with India Union. Cannot say Pakistan is the issue. That was little bit outward. So what are different parts of this? We'll discuss when we are discussing this answer. Many parts that you are saying. What is different parts of this answer? Here also you have a statement, you have a question. Tell me. History of insurgency in Northeast. Show the timeline or something like that. But make sure it is just very small part of your answer. Should not be big part. What next? Reasons. Reasons for what? Reason for survival. Anything else? If you have space, you have way forward also, but small way forward. These two, it's very good if you do some diagram for these. Do some diagram for these also. Or timeline can show like this also. Some creativity you can do in all this. This part you try to explain little bit in clarity. So what introduction you will give? For somebody I told you, don't paraphrase the statement. Here what is written is paraphrasing the statement. Northeast is facing continuing political problems since independence. Yeah, come on. Yes, you can start with that also. Recent issue also you can connect with. Which one you will connect? Anything, Naga code. If anything in news which is going on, you can connect with. The idea is you should give a brief timeline, at least connect it with something happened after 1940s, 47. Okay. Brief timeline you should give. Without timeline, it will look like very vague. Even if you are using a vague statement, how you can improvise it? In introduction to you, I told, right? Sometime introduction may not be knowing the standard definition. Yeah, you will be writing very vague introductions. Even in that case, just give an example. Give 1-2 real cases, 1-2 real arguments, real ground realities. So that will give too much depth to the answer. Here you show timeline. What was the first major insurgency issue India faced? After independence, Nagaland issue. Greater Nagaland, demand for Greater Nagaland. Starting from there, this you should remember. So you are read something about insurgency, Greater Nagaland demand in 1950s. That should come into your mind. What was the next issue? 1960s Mizo movement. This is a little difficult, very specific. But what is next? Assam issue in 1970s. This you should be very well aware of. Why? Why? NRC, National Registry of Citizens. It was conducted in Assam. What was the issue? NRC was conducted and 19 lakh people were not in the list. And what is NRC? What is it all about? Minorities. Why it is being done for Assam? It came from Assam Accord. Which year it signed? What does it say? Two, 3 timelines are given. I think Jan 1, 1966. Those who have entered before this, what will do? Entered from where? Entered from Bangladesh. Assam was facing illegal migration from Bangladesh. So, according to Assam Accord, those who have entered before January 1, 1966, what will do? Give them immediate citizenship, give them voting rights. They are citizens of India. Everything what is citizen have, they have. Now for next 5 years, till 1971, I think 25 March is the date. This was what we'll do till then. They will also be part of Indian citizens, but they will have to wait 10 years. After that, after 10 years, they can apply for citizenship. Then they will get full citizenship with voting rights. Now, if somebody else came after this, what will do? Whoever came after this will be deported back. Now, how will you identify this? Who came after this date? Who came before this date? So, when Assam Accord was signed, there was a criteria. What it was? Assam already has a National Register of Citizens, which was conducted in which year? 1951, after independence. Now, the criteria under Assam Accord was that 51 registry will be updated, and whoever is not according to all these conditions, and whoever is not in that updated registry will be deported back. Now, when was it Assam Accord came? 1980s, 85. When NRC came? 2019, 20. 19 or 20? 19. 2019. Now, how much gap is there? 1971 and 2019. Thing is, it should have been conducted in 1980s. Things would have been much better or easier. But due to some XYZ political reason, no government is ready to touch it. It's very hard topic. One thing is, even conducting the NRC, what was the biggest criticism against it? Even it itself is an economic burden. It takes huge amount of resources to conduct NRC. Not just economic resource, administrative resource also. All the documents from pre-independence era, they are checking, cross-checking, all this to be done. So, yeah, 1980s it could have been done, but due to XYZ reason, political reason, all this impetus was not there and it was not done. After that, somebody given case in Supreme Court, and Supreme Court appointed some committee and ordered them to do the NRC and give all the support. Then it came into force in 2019, and 19 lakh people were out of it. Now, what will you do with these 19 lakh people? Technically, there is no agreement with Bangladesh. There is no consonance with Bangladesh like India. India is also not saying we will deport it. Means their future is like ghost. They are not getting, if they are not taken away their citizenship, and it's like they are not going to be citizens in Bangladesh also. So, due to multiple reasons, this is in news. This thing you should remember, you should have your mind. So, when you are giving substantiation to timeline of whatever is happening, 1950s, 1970s, what is this issue? Naga Peace Accord. When it was signed? 2050. Actually, Naga Peace Accord was not signed. What was signed? Framework Agreement for Naga Peace Accord. Who was the intermediary between government and Nagas? Very famous person. His photo comes in newspaper every now and then. R.N. Ravi. Who is he now? Governor of Tamil Nadu. Very good. Anyone else remember him? R.N. Ravi. Thing is, what was this Naga Peace Accord? Which groups it was signed with? NSC and IM. IM or IN? IM. IM it is. And NSC and IM. That was like separatist group. K is still banned organization working from Myanmar, all these issues. So tell me, what is Assam Accord or Naga Peace Accord? What was issued? Specifications of these, it was 15, the framework agreement was signed. Even today, the real full agreement was not signed. What is issue? Reading newspapers. R.N. Ravi was in news because these Naga people are saying he changed some wordings of the agreement. And using some word change, the agreement is now against them. Major issue is they want separate flag and separate constitution, which is too much to give. Now, if we see government approach to insurgency, what government can do? Autonomy to a great extent government can provide. Even in constitution there is 6th schedule. 6th or 5th? 4th, who is saying 4th? Okay, yeah, mainly higher autonomy is provided under 6th schedule. And whatever autonomy is the demand, government can resolve it. But sovereign power government cannot share. With any organization, any big it is, if they are demanding separate state should be there, that is something too big to ask. Okay. What else we need to discuss here? How will you approach this question? This part of the answer. Reasons for survival of armed insurgency in Northeast. One way is very redundant method, syllabus wise, think according to the syllabus. Cultural, main syllabus, historical aspects, geographical factors, social factors, political factors, economic factors and security factors. There is one more. Kya? Every question you should not do. Every question you, whatever template we are discussing, ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए like you are following a formula and applying it. You should mix it up. What is other approach? State wise. If you have enough thinking capacity, think according to what are insurgency and issues faced by each state. Assam we discussed, Nagaland we discussed, other states also think of it. Yeah, tell me what are cultural issues? You are told now 200 plus tribals already in Northeast and 400 it is. Okay, all 100. Hundreds. Hundreds of tribes are creating issues there. And these tribes are having fight with itself. Like we speak about Greater Nagalim, what is the issue? This is Nagaland. Greater Nagaland is returned. Greater Nagaland is too much. Acquiring other areas, nearby areas, Assam's areas, everything they want. And there are other tribes also.
Which tribe is demanding greater?
NSC and we told now. Oh, that is organization, exact tribe. Nagaland issue is like there is only not one tribe. 40s of tribe is within Nagaland also. And these all tribes you need Greater Nagaland. Like that is the demand. Not just one tribe. So cultural ethnic tensions. What else? What is problem if there is tribal fighting? What is the problem? Remember this blockade. Where it is? Which tribe, which group is creating this? Mostly Bodo, Greater Bodo. What they does? There is like there is no connectivity option. One NH is providing facilities throughout the Northeast, but they conveniently block the road. then whatever their demand is, they are like forcing the authorities to give consideration to their demand. Historical factors. Somebody discussed this. British policy. What is British policy? How is it influencing insurgency? What is British policy towards Northeast? 2-3 aspect is there. Why British was not interested in Northeast?
Difficulty.
Highly, there was no resources. Tribal system is there. Very difficult to collect revenue, establish system. Tea plantation, yeah, that is there. Apart from that, there is very less influence, because from other, if Bengal we consider, considerable amount of revenue is coming from Bengal. Comparing to that, this area is highly problematic. So British followed policy of isolation. What else was there? Forest policy. What was it? Indian government, you are saying.
It was adopted till
1980s something. What else British policy was there regarding Northeast? Another very important aspect you should think. Would be isolation. What else? What was that? PVT. That is post independence. In British time, another act was there. It was continuing itself. Can cite that. One other aspect is Northeast, many states, if you look at the demographic data, you will see some very high Christian population. Why? Missionaries were very active in Northeast, and British was also supporting it. Why? They thought they will act as some kind of resistance to nationalism, will not spread to those areas. Okay. So these are historical aspects you can connect with insurgency going on. What else? Geographical factors. I don't think 2/3 area is forest. What else? Where is connectivity with India? This is only if you consider Northeast and in mainland India as two separate elements. The only connecting is this aspect. What we'll call the Siliguri corridor. Chicken neck. How much it is? 23 kilometers. It is here. It will be blocked and 2/3 area is hilly. Where is plains? Assam, when Brahmaputra is flowing, there we have some plains, and in Tripura we have some plains. All other Northeast is hilly areas. So what is problem with hilly areas? Very difficult even for agriculture, very difficult for any industries to establish. And due to this connectivity gap, what you will do? Industries where they will get, or where they will export if they are producing something, where they will get the raw materials. Everything connectivity issues, geographical factors, they are contributing to developmental gap. Some project is going on now. 100, what is it? 500 airports in India, something like that. 500 or 100. Something like that. Under the program, some airports are being built in Northeast also. But still, it's very something which have happened 20 years back. They are just catching up. What else we could have done to improve the situation of Northeast? Connect these with Southeast Asia. What was our policy? Look west policy. Who came up with this? Look west. Activist. Everyone know who came up with it. In 1990s, I guess, P. Narasimha Rao was the Prime Minister at that time. Now we have look west, we gone into, sorry, look east. W came. From look east, we came into act east. Situation changed. In IR, we discussed something, BBI and all these things. We are trying to, recently one thing came out. What was it? Kaladan multimodal project. Some development is going on, but still it is highly non-connected, isolated area. Bangladesh, yeah. What is political factors? Border disputes, which with country? China we have, Andhra Pradesh, sorry, Arunachal Pradesh is China's according to China. Major parties, even within the state there is border disputes. Assam, Meghalaya, Assam is having border disputes with most of these states. Sometimes these go to fight also. I have heard in news recently. What is this? Parachute politics? No, everything. Very good. What is parachute politics? Idea is the majority of population is poor and there will be some elite class who are really rich, really very rich, and they will be MLAs, MPs, they will be holding this post and they will not be residing in Northeast, they will be residing in Delhi, they will be residing in some cities, but they are MLA from Northeast or MP from Northeast. What is this package politics? Announcement of will come very colorful way, but implementation will be pathetic. No monetary system, कितना खर्चा हुआ है. Okay. Economic factors, all developmental factors we discussed. There is no investment. Security factors, FSP issues. We'll discuss in next question. Fair enough. What next you will write? Way forward. And it should be very brief. Now the accord, peace accord. We already discussed what is issues in this. Whenever border security infrastructure, border infrastructure, all this connect with Sri Gadkar committee. Development Act East policy already told. What is border huts? This is a new term. Which what they will do? Which borders? Mostly with Bangladesh borders. What they will do? Trade, like in agricultural, small products they can facilitate the trade. Yes, yes. So this is very innovative option. SHGs, NGOs connect, joint exercises. Tribal issue, what is one major issue forces will be facing? Forest, thick forest area, hilly terrain. So joint exercises with Bhutan, with Myanmar, all this very important. We conducted something, surgical strike, Operation All Out is regarding J&K, right? Okay, yeah. Surgical strike in which year it was? 2019. 19 was Pakistan, right? 15 May, I think. Whatever it is, idea is Indian army is entering Myanmar and doing act with these insurgent groups. Yeah, can give 4 or 5 recommendations and finish the answer. What else? You have covered all these aspects in your answer. At least way forward is there, reason is there, and timeline, some timeline you are trying to attempt. In solution, what you will do? Ultimately, this is a political solution, but in order to facilitate, there is need for addressing all other gaps which we are discussing. Insurgency operation also, like left-wing extremism, last 1 decade less than 50%. Insurgency operations are also showing very much downward trend itself. Okay. What is last question for today? This is a very old question, 2015. And how much marks it is? When it was asked, it was 12.5. That time, the separation was not there. We'll do it for 15 because there is so much part to be answered in this. Tell me what is different parts of this. Then read the question. Sorry. Human rights activists are constantly, human rights activists constantly highlight the view that armed forces AFSPA is a draconian act leading to cases of human rights abuse by the security forces. You're going. So we have a very long statement. After that, we have different questions. Sections of AFSPA is asked, opposed by the activist. Evaluate requirement with reference to view held by the apex court. It was some Supreme Court judgment came that year, that's why it was apex court is asked. So that is not too much relevant. You might not be able to remember or connect with it. It is very old. What else? What body parts we will write? Approach is very same. What you will give to substantiate the statement, long statement? Any data, any opinion, something like that. To substantiate the statement given. That should be small part, not to 1 page. What next? Cite the case of Iram Sharmila. States are demanding this. People are demanding to remove this, right? Abhi hua tha recently. Yes, yes. That's why a question we put. Like something it is in news every year. You were saying something? What else? Anything? Which one? It will have a name. Write that. Iram Shamila, how much years? 16? Not 16. She was fasting for removal of this act. Something like that you should give. We'll see when we discuss.
That they have uplifted this.
Recently, government uplifted from many places. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. You can start with this. Problem is this question is more in an attitude of issues. So if you are citing it is being lifted. So what I have done is I have given this data what you are speaking about. Recent government lifted from this year itself. Remember, 2-3 states district wide it is lifted. So yeah, I have written for this model answer or discussion. Put that data in the conclusion. You can start with recent news also, no issues. Thing is, it was not matching with the tone of the question. So what are the other parts? Then it's all very straightforward. What are the sections of the act that is creating issue or being opposed? Critically evaluate the requirement of the act. So basically you have to do an analysis. Why the act is problem? What is the need of the act? Here you can cite government stance. Government is saying still FSP is required. What is the reason for that? You will cite it here. Okay. Then you can Still have space, you can give a way forward. It's a diagram or a small part, then conclusion. Move ahead, clear? So we will start with, just simply say what is a FSPA, what it does. Idea is, we already told, law and order is whose matter? States matter. And what does this act does? It gives power to armed forces, central armed forces, to have a role in the law and order of that state. Okay, what it gives is special powers. What is special power, we will see next part of the answer. And where it is, disturbed areas. Justify. Government argument is, what is government argument? Where this act is imposed. Disturbed areas. Disturb means not just a law and order disturbance. Where there is insurgency, very active. Police cannot handle those issues. Like if an insurgency operation is going on with multi-states involved, police cannot be very effective to it. That is government argument, like we will see in the next part. Government argument is where the limited forces or established system cannot stop the issue, there only we are implementing the FSPA like Draconian Act. Okay, you are asking from political aspect. Internal security is something you can. There was recently one case. What was that? Privacy versus internal security. Which one you give? That's always in news. Pegasus. Pegasus is something related to that. Which one you will give more importance? Privacy of citizens or internal security? Internal security, you have some flexibilities. Exact I am not remembering, but that is the base of it. That is the basis for this. Very good. Can be. Anything else? Anyone had to add something? Article 34, martial law. Something has to be researched. I am not well aware of it. Article 34, where it is imposed? It's not hardly seen in news, right? Political reasons can be. Go ahead. What else? How do you substantiate this part? Tell me. What we are trying to do? We are going to give some substantiating element to the statement that is given. Take pick. Take it. So what I have given is, we are analyzing some commentaries of different groups. Okay, different commentaries by different groups or committees or something, 1, 2, 3 you can cite, that will suffice. We don't need too much data into it in this part of the answer. Human Rights Commission, everyone is opposing this act. Why? So much violations. Human rights violation, constitutional violation, all these. Human Rights Watch, IDSA, Santosh Hegde Committee, Justice Jeevan Committee. What does this committee say? It recommended repeal of the act, but government overlooked it. What saying? So this is one approach to substantiate whatever the statement is given. At least cite 1, 2 example or organization, 1, 2 studies which have done something on it, and say that this is creating human rights issue or whatever is being given in the question. What is next part of our answer? Different sections of FSPA. What are different sections? Have you read any act? Any act? What is section 2 of most of the or any all act? Definitions. So what is issue in FSPA definitions? Exact definition is not given on what is armed forces, what is disturbed areas. Disturbed area means this authority can declare disturbed area, but when it will be considered as disturbed, the criteria for an area to be disturbed, that is not provided in the act. Yeah, section 3, that is, there is lack of clarity, vague definitions are being provided. And major issue is not here, major issue is regarding the special powers. What is the special powers these armed forces will be having? To shoot anyone if there is a threat to security aspects, search without warrant. What is problem with this? Right to privacy. So many cases against security forces regarding women, violence against women, all this came from search premise without any warrant. What else? Arresting on merely on the grounds of suspicion. What issues you will connect with? Fake encounters. People are being arrested, people are done something and they died. What they will come up with? Some encounter stories, all this. Destroy fortification by possible use of terror. Thing is, they don't need to prove there is a real terrorist threat. Even a suspicion is enough to take action against you, and that action can be shooting and killing on site also. Even that is substantiated. And lastly, there is legal immunity. Only with XYZ permission of the central government you can start any action against paramilitary forces. Okay. What is this section 5? What the issue being talked about? Arrested person has to be handed over to the nearest police station. Arrested person to be handed over to the nearest police station with least possible delay. Again, what is the issue? Very vague. Least possible delay means it can be anything. Secondly, where it is being? If in other parts of India, what is the status? If you are being arrested, what is to be done? "24 hours you have to be presented in front of magistrate. Then it will come something like 14 days custody or whatever it is. Sometimes he will be left free also. So when other part of the country you are going before a magistrate, here even the timeline is not specified and you have to be handed over to the police. So there is so much of vague and so much scope for misuse. Okay. Move ahead. What will be next part of answer? We'll have an argument analysis part of it. What are the argument against the act? Human rights. Cite some data, how many people are being killed, something like that. Basically it is a violation of Article 21, violation of Human Rights Declaration, Human Rights Charter, everything. What is Article 21? Right to life and personal liberty. What is this? Can we substantiate these acts because there is something like, what is due process and procedure established by law? What is procedure established by law? If law is being followed, then it is okay. Here law is being followed and somebody is shoot, then is that okay? Where does that come from? The new process, it's not enough. Following the law is not enough. The process has to be just, has to be rational. Where does that argument come from? Due process, Maneka Gandhi case. So what is Article 19 issue? You cannot hold meetings, possessions. Political. Which one? Yes, they are also arguments. You can cite one. If you are not citing that may not be asked needed in every question. Human Rights Committee, UN Committee, that will not be needed in all question. You can cite that also as arguments. Is question may we have a need for giving, otherwise you can do in the first section, you can give some data, give some example, give some cases, do that and you can use that article, reports, whatever we discussed here. No limit on use of force. Usually how police operate, what is problem when this paramilitary or armed forces is coming? What is fund of the police when handling an issue? Use minimum force, least force possible, least damage, you have to settle the matter. When armed force is happening, they don't have this limit. They have to destroy the enemy or destroy the XYZ. Yeah, police will beat in the leg, shoot in the leg. All these things come from there. Yeah. Arbitrary arrest, yeah. Preventive, only preventive, what is? Preventive detention is possible under Article 22. You can write. Here there is no preventive detention, also has some XYZ criteria, nothing is clarified here. Violation of constitutional directive, whatever it is. Arrest to be not made on suspicion. Like in other parts of the country, you cannot be arrested just because on suspicion. Whatever reason XYZ should be substantiated, there should be rational, there should be significant amount of doubt on you, then only arrest can be done. Here there is only mere suspicion is enough. Not under purview of NHRC. What is NHRC? Human Rights Commission. That right is also avoided, not given to the people of these areas. More you can cite for 5 minimum. That is the agenda. What is against, what is government view or in support of the AFSPA, what is arguments? Yes, we told this is applied only when there is significant security to the threat to the integrity of India or sovereignty of India. And this cannot be handled by police forces. Only at those areas we are implementing AFSPA. Police cannot handle a cross-border insurgency issue. Myanmar se issues are there. This cannot be handled merely by state police. So in that zone only we are using FSPA. That is what XYZ government is saying. What else? If it is being implemented from 1958, 58 to till now, many places it's being implemented. And one day you go and repeal them. In other side you are giving a free hand to the terrorist. Terrorist or insurgency operations can go on unchecked. Then most common argument is morale of the armed forces will get down if this act is repealed. They are working in a very high, like what is their issue we already told. Like law and order maintenance is not what is they are trained for or their forte. They are trained for security, fighting operations, all these. But they are giving so much of burden and so much of work. So we need to give special protection also. So these are some arguments given by government for support of the act. However, what is collective intelligence so far? Right now if you see, government is also of the view that something need to be changed and there is some progress regarding made on those regard. Like we will discuss when in conclusion, many states it's being lifted and many states political offerings are given that FSPA will be removed from this state. So even political offerings are coming, even if it is not coming today, it will come in near future at least. So what else you can cite? Some of the very important cases regarding AFSPA. What is this? The idea is they are giving humanize if so many committees. Next part we will discuss. Yeah, recommendations by, we'll start from here. Recommendations by committees, most of the committee, Jeevan Reddy committee we already saw there. Take, pick everyone together. So many committees are recommending repeal of the act. Which committee? Second ARC is saying the same. Jeevan Reddy committee is saying the same. So if a repeal is not possible, what Supreme Court is trying? At least humanize the act, at least limit the damage, at least soften some aspect of it. So that we can see here. What is this? Naga People's Movement of Human case. The main idea is somewhere FSP is imposed. It according to law it is minimum imposed for 6 months. Now there is no review what is the status after 6 months, and it will be continued indefinitely for X number of times. So that should not happen. Some periodic check should be done, some monitoring mechanism should be there. If an area is improving, then we should have some institutional framework for removing that area. All this were discussed in this case. What is this? Extrajudicial Victim Families Association. It's a very famous case. Like what the final judgment came. The argument was around facts. How much was the number? More than 1,500 families and data will be submitted to the Supreme Court saying that whoever died is not terrorist, not militant, not insurgent or anything. Common people have died, and they have been died in fake encounters. There is no such a thing as encounter. That was the case all about. So what does it say? What is problem with the encounters in FSP areas? You cannot initiate action against whoever conducted whatever. So that also should be given some XYZ. Complete immunity is always an issue. And what is the recommendation? If a death of a person is happened, irrespective of he is a civilian or insurgent, whatever, that case should be investigated properly. What is the last case? Indrajit Barua versus State of Assam. What does it say? Article 21, what does it say? Right to life and property, and if some constitutional violation is happening, it is duty of state to protect, ensure that people's right is not violated. And this is applicable to FSP areas also. Don't think that fundamental rights is not applicable when FSPA come into force. So some cases you can cite at some areas that will give some depth to your answer. Why we are discussing this like this? Because exactly discussing whatever happened in 2015, that is not going to help us. Some question come, use some case studies, use some arguments by organizations. You can use it in introduction, use it in conclusion, wherever it is. Okay. Conclusion, what you will do? Last part of it, way forward. Like one more section, if you need, you can add. Idea is in long term key is phase out of FSPA. But if phase out is not possible, whatever directive Supreme Court has given, implement it properly. Implement a code of conduct, all those aspects. And conclusion, you can connect with recent happenings which you were saying. In some states, it's being lifted in Assam, Nagaland, Manipur. So, yeah. So you connect with that and conclude the answer. Okay. What else? Okay. Tomorrow topics. Border security. Border security means it includes all things. What else? Borders and coastal airspace is question nahi hai. Maritime, all these aspects. And money laundering. Okay. And last class, after that, next day we will have cyber security. Cyber security is one area where question every year one question is coming. So we have enough 5 questions will be there. Anything else? So that's all for today. Thank you.